You don't need to solve anything tonight. There is nothing waiting for a conclusion, nothing that must be understood before you are allowed to rest. The day has already loosened its hold. Whatever remains unfinished can remain that way for now. The night does not demand clarity or effort. It simply creates space. You can let the mind slow its pace. You can stop scanning for what might go wrong. Nothing important will be lost by resting. Long ago, there was a man named Epictetus. He lived with many limitations placed upon him, and yet he spoke more clearly than most about freedom. Not freedom from circumstances, but freedom from unnecessary inner weight. He noticed something very human, that much of our distress does not come from what happens, but from what we believe we must carry. And so he returned, again and again, to a simple idea. Some things are ours, and many things are not. Epictetus spoke of a quiet boundary in life, a boundary we cross without noticing. On one side are things that belong to us, our thoughts, our choices, the way we respond in this moment. On the other side are things that do not, other people's actions, outcomes, and timing, the future unfolding in its own way. Most worry comes from holding what lives on the other side of that line. At night, this habit becomes clearer. The mind tries to protect you by thinking ahead. It reviews conversations, imagines future scenarios, searches for certainty. It believes that vigilance equals care. But Epictetus would gently say, care does not require control, and control, when misplaced, creates restlessness instead of peace. Tonight, you can begin to notice how much of what weighs on you is not truly yours to manage. Not with criticism, not with force, just with quiet awareness. You may feel an urge to stay mentally alert, as if relaxing means being unprepared. This is only a learned pattern, not a truth. You are allowed to rest, even while life remains uncertain. Epictetus understood that peace does not come from shaping the world to our expectations. It comes from understanding what we can influence and what we must allow. Notice your breathing now. It moves in its own rhythm. It does not ask for direction or correction. Each breath arrives quietly. Each breath leaves on its own time. You are not managing this process, and yet it continues without trouble. This is one of the quiet lessons Epictetus trusted deeply, that life, when allowed, knows how to move. Your heart beats without instruction. Your body shifts, adjusts, maintains itself. The night deepens outside. Time passes gently. None of this requires your supervision, and still it all continues. Think for a moment about how much effort you have spent today trying to stay ahead of things, anticipating reactions, preparing explanations, imagining outcomes. This effort often feels responsible. It feels necessary. But Epictetus would remind us that responsibility does not mean control. You are responsible for how you meet the moment, not for how the world responds to you. So many worries come from confusing these two. We try to manage what is not ours because we care, but care does not require tension. Care can exist alongside rest. Think of the concerns that may be present now. Some may feel important, some vague, some familiar enough to feel permanent. You do not need to name them. Just notice how many involve things that cannot be resolved from here, other people's choices, events that have not yet happened, possibilities that exist only in imagination. These thoughts feel heavy because they were never meant to be held all at once. Epictetus would say that when we carry what is not ours, we exhaust ourselves unnecessarily. Tonight, You are allowed to stop, not forever, just for now. If the mind says, "But what if something goes wrong?" you can answer softly, "If it does, I will meet it when it arrives." That is all that is needed. The future does not need rehearsal tonight. It does not need preparation from exhaustion. You will meet it with more clarity after rest. The night is not a test. It is not something to get through. It is a pause. And pauses are not wasted time. They are how balance returns. You may notice tension still living in the body. Places that have been holding effort all day. The shoulders that stayed lifted. The jaw that stayed tight. The stomach that stayed alert. There is no need to force these places to relax. Just let them know they are no longer needed for protection. The night is calm enough now. Epictetus believed that much suffering comes from resisting what already is. At night, resistance often takes a quiet form. This should have gone differently. I should have known better. Tomorrow needs to be better than today. These thoughts do not bring solutions. They only keep the mind awake. Tonight, you can let them soften. What has already happened is complete. Nothing needs correction right now. You are allowed to not know what comes next, allowed to sleep without certainty. Uncertainty does not require your vigilance. It has existed before, and you have lived through it before. As the body remains still, the mind may begin to slow naturally. Thoughts become longer, less urgent. Spaces appear between them. There is no need to fill these spaces. They are not empty. They are where rest lives. Epictetus spoke of freedom as being unaffected by what is not ours to command. Tonight, freedom looks like stillness, like returning responsibility to where it belongs. If thoughts wander to tomorrow, acknowledge them kindly. Not now. That is enough. If thoughts drift to the past, you can say quietly, "It is already done. Nothing needs revision tonight." The mind may test this quiet. It may offer one more problem, one more scenario, one more reminder. You do not need to resist. Just do not engage. Let the thought pass without following it. You are not falling behind by resting. You are not neglecting your life. You are preparing in the only way that truly works. Epictetus trusted that when we stop fighting reality, the mind naturally settles. You can trust this process. There is nothing you need to force. Breathing grows slower. Awareness softens. The edges of thought blur slightly. There is no moment to watch for, no signal you need to catch. Rest arrives quietly when it is allowed. The worries that truly belong to you will return when action is possible. Those that do not belong to you often fade when you stop holding them. Either way, they do not need your attention now. You are allowed to stop carrying, allowed to stop anticipating, allowed to simply exist without solving anything. The world is larger than your thoughts, more stable than your fears suggest. It has been moving long before you, and it will continue on its own. You do not need to hold it together tonight. As the night deepens, everything slows: the breath, the body, awareness itself. You do not need to assist this slowing. It is happening on its own. Epictetus would remind us that peace does not come from controlling life. It comes from trusting what does not belong to us. Tonight, you can practice that trust by doing very little. The mind may grow quieter now, less interested in forming thoughts. This is natural. You are not losing awareness. You are resting it. There is nothing left to prepare for, nothing left to guard against. Just this moment, stretching gently onward. You are safe enough to let go now, safe enough to not know, safe enough to sleep. The night will hold you without effort, and whatever comes next will arrive in its own time. You can drift now, without direction, without intention, just resting where you are,